My role thank you very much. My role is to be very brief, and first to thank the National Humanities Alliance and the Association of American Universities for sponsoring this event, and of course the caucus for allowing it to happen. In fact, I don't want to argue favorites, but there are no better members of the United States Congress than David Price and Tom Petri, and it's always good to have people one can be proud of. Anyway, it's my role to give a brief overview of why the humanities are of relevance to national security, and then throw it open to David Skorton to moderate this panel. And I'm going to make three very quick points. One is, if you take national security, it's clear that they relate to issues of the day, and sometimes issues are on the surface. That is, all national challenges, problems are kind of surface issues. But to understand the surface, you have to understand what's below the surface, and that's usually the history and culture of a society. And understanding history and culture is imperative when one deals with the question of whether to go to war, how to conduct war, how to end war, and how to bring forth a circumstance where one has reasonable relations after conflict is over, and most of all, if there's any prospect whatsoever of avoiding war. And so the humanities are central to all of this. Secondly, part of national security is the economy and the strength of the economy, and it's inconceivable to have a strong national security prospect without a strong economy. And one of the myths of our time, I think, is that the humanities are not central to job creation. But if we're to compete in the world, we're going to have to understand those with whom we compete. If we're going to have to understand our customers, then we're also going to have to understand ourselves. And in change-intensive times, we're also going to have to understand how we think and analyze and correlate. And I don't think there are any greater disciplines for teaching that than history, literature, philosophy, comparative religion, etc. Finally, I would stress that America, in many ways, is an idea and an ideal. And so one of the great questions is, how do we present this idea and ideal to the world? And under the new radars of mass communication, how do we allow it not to suffer, and how do we allow it not to be lost? All of these are enormous national security implications, of which the humanities are front and center. Now let me introduce David Skorton. David is the president of Cornell University. He took a major step down, having been president of the University of Iowa, to take this particular position. But we're honored he did. And he comes to us as the second partner of a wedding relationship in which his wife is a distinguished United States scientist. And so we're a little bit competitive with the sciences, although we think they're basically complementary. But David is coming before us as a man of great wisdom, and has taken as a personal initiative the notion of advancing the importance of the humanities, and he does it coming from an institution that has as many Nobel laureates as almost any country in the world, minus the United States and maybe one other. So let me introduce to you David Skorton, president of Cornell University.